Okay, certainly.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. So, today is our fourth day as part of our short term training from Python to AI. I hope every one of you have you know, installed the application because, as I have told yesterday, that you will be issued with a certificate from the mobile application only. Right? So, what is the criteria? Every one of you have to attend at least 80% of the videos. They have to watch at least 80% of the videos, and additionally you should also fill up the feedback form. So yesterday we did not provide you the feedback form, right? So we'll be providing the feedback form today, and every one of you have to fill this feedback form. This will ensure that you are attending the class, and we'll also practically make it possible. We'll take the valuable suggestions from your side and we'll try to implement them. Right. So, what did we discuss in the previous classes? Right. So, on day one, we started understanding history of Python. Then, after understanding the history, we also understood Python applications. Then, the features of Python. Uh, After understanding the features of Python, we understood the basic concept called variables in Python. Okay, so this is very very important, guys, because time again we'll be using variables, right? So variables was being covered on day one itself. Then on day two we started with operators, and we have understood five operators on day two. And yesterday we have understood the rest of two operators as well. So in total, all the seven operators were being covered. So we'll quickly understand all the seven operators once again. Then we'll go with the today topic. So first of all, what is an operator? Operator is nothing but a symbol which is used to perform a certain action, a certain operation. We use operators. What are the different types of operators we have? arithmetic operator. What are the different types of arithmetic operators we have? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, then division, floor division, modulus, and finally exponential. So these are not something new for us. We have been used to these operators from our school days itself. So addition, which returns the sum, subtraction, which returns the difference, multiplication, which returns the product, division, which returns the coefficient in the division operator, right? And a division operator always returns a float as output, right? So next to division operator, we have floor division. Floor division operator returns as, it also performs division, but it round downs the value to the nearest integer. Next to floor division, we have modulus operator. Modulus operator returns as remainder, right? And the final one in the arithmetic operator is exponential, which is nothing but power, a power b or x power y. After understanding arithmetic operators, we discussed assignment operators. The only assignment operator that is available in Python is equal to. What is the use of assignment operator? Assignment operator is used to assign the values to the variables, or whatever the value that we have on the right hand side will be assigned to the left hand side part. And we also understood the combination of arithmetic operator and assignment operator. Plus is equals to, minus is equals to, then product is equals to, asterisk mark is equals to, slash is equals to, double slash is equals to, you know, modulus percentage is equals to, and finally double asterisk mark is equals to. All these are nothing but shortcuts, right? The third one, the third operator is comparison operator. What are the different comparison operators that we have? First of all, what is the purpose of a comparison operator? Comparison operator are used to compare two values. So greater than, less than, greater than equals to, less than equals to. Uh, what else? Is equals to, not equals to. So double is equals to in Python, and not is equals to is written as exclamatory followed by is equal to mark. And what is the output of comparison operator? True or false. Nothing else apart from it. The fourth operator that we discussed is uh, logical operators. What is the purpose of logical operator? Logical operators are used to combine multiple or two or more comparison operators, comparison statements, expressions. What are the different types of logical operators that we have in Python? And, or, not. When does and return true? First of all, what will be the output of logical operators? Either true or false. When does AND operator returns true? When both the expressions returns true, only then AND operator returns true. When does OR operator return true? When either of the statements, either of the expressions return true, OR operator also returns true. What is the use of NOT operator, or how does NOT operator work? NOT operator is used for reversing the output, reversing the Boolean value. Good. Then comes the fifth operator, membership. What is the purpose of membership operator? Membership operator is used to verify whether the value is present in the iterator object or not. What are the different membership operators that we have in Python? In, not in. What will be the output of membership operator? Either true or false. Right? So in operator returns true when the value is present in the iterator, and not in operator returns true when the value is not present in the iterator. What is the meaning of iterator, guys? Iterator is nothing but it's an object with multiple values, right? So we'll better discuss in the upcoming concept. Then comes the sixth operator, that is identity. Identity operators is not. So many of our friends may get confused between membership operators and identity operators. Membership operators are in and not in, whereas identity operators are is and is not. Okay, so what is the purpose of identity operators? Identity operators are used to check the address or verify the address of two different variables, two different objects. Is, when does is return true? When both the values or when both the variables have same address in the memory, then is return true. When does is not returns true? When both the objects in the memory doesn't have same address. So till here, all the operators are very easy to understand, right? But bitwise operators are very important. What are the different bitwise operators that we have in Python? Left shift, right shift, then bitwise AND, bitwise OR, exclusive OR, and finally complement, nothing but not operator, bitwise not operator. So as we are going to discuss about bitwise operators, the initial decimal format number will be converted to binary format, and then it performs the respective operator. Depending on the operator that we use, it performs the operation. Got it? So all these operators were being covered till yesterday. People or the students who have missed it so far, I kindly suggest to go through videos till third video. So just complete all the videos. And today we are going to start a new topic called data types. We are going to start a new topic, and this is very important, guys. So focus. Right. Let's get started. So data types in Python. What is the purpose of data types? Depending on the data that we are going to use, it is going to allocate sufficient space in the memory. Okay, so in Python we have, in total we have 6 data types. What are the 6 data types that we have? Fundamental category data types, then sequence category data types, list category data types, followed by set category data types, dict category data types, and finally none category data types. Okay, so let me, yep. So these are all the data types that we have. And today we will be understanding the fundamental category data types and sequence category data types. Right? So under fundamental category data types, we have integer, float, bool, complex. Right? So we'll understand all the fundamental category data types. Then under sequence category data types, we'll understand strings, nothing but str. So today, these are our topics. Let's get started, guys. So what is The purpose of fundamental category data types. The purpose of fundamental category data types is to store single values. Okay, so if you want to store a single value, for example 10, then you have to go and use a fundamental category data type. And out of fundamental category data type, the first data type is integer. What is integer? Int or integer is nothing but they are used to store whole numbers or integers, might be positive integer or negative integer. Integer itself talking about minus infinity to plus infinity, right? But without decimals. The purpose of int data type is to store whole numbers or integers which does not have decimal numbers, nothing but non-decimal numbers. So let us take some examples. I am going to define a variable with a value 10. I want to store value 10 in A, right? So I'm using an assignment operator and 10 will be stored in A. First of all, uh, what kind of value is 10? 10 is an integer. Why? Because it is not having any kind of decimals, right? So 10 is an integer and I'm going to store in A, right? So let me execute line number 514. Done. Name of the variable is A and the value present in A is 10 and the type is integer. Did I specifically mention integer anywhere? No, right? But how come int is being taken or int is given to 10 to A? Any idea, guys? Do you remember the features of Python? Dynamic programming. What is the meaning of dynamic programming? I told you on day one. So programming languages are of generally two types. One is static type programming and other one is dynamic type programming. Python is dynamic typed programming language. What is the meaning of dynamic typed programming language? Dynamic typed programming language are nothing but where we generally don't declare the data type, whereas PVM, the interpreter of Python, will automatically assign the data type. Did I declare anywhere that 10 is an integer? No. Then how come the type became integer for A? Because of dynamic typed programming language. Python is dynamic typed programming language. Even though if you don't explicitly mention that int a is equal to 10, whereas if you go to other programming languages, let me take C, you have to keep it like this: int a is equals to 10. That means in A you are going to store integer and the value is 10. But is that the same case here? No. C is static typed programming language, whereas Python is dynamic typed programming language. The end user need not declare the type, the data type, whereas that particular operation will be done by PVM, Python virtual machine, right? So let me execute. Done, right? Now let us print the value of A to the console using print function, and the value that is storing in A is 10. Good. Now we are going to get introduced to a new function called type. What is a function? Function is nothing but block of code or lines of code. For time being, assume in that way. Right? When the functions topic comes in, we'll understand more about function. How can you identify whether it is a function or not? Simple. A function will always have parentheses, nothing but regular braces. So type also has parentheses. These are called as parentheses. In the same way, print. Print is a function. Okay. So type function will return the type, the data type of that particular object. Okay, what I'm going to do? I'm going to print the type of A. Whatever the value that is being stored in A, the data type of that will be returned by type function. See, it is integer. In the same way, I'm going to take one more value, that is minus 100, and I'm going to store it to variable B. Now I'm going to print B, and the value is minus 100. In variable explorer, the value of B is minus 100 and the type is integer. But let us also cross check with type function. Type of B, print of type of B. This should return integer, nothing but int. Yes. So I hope int data type was clear. You know, the purpose of int is to store whole numbers or integers with non-decimals. So it should not have any decimals. That comes under int data type. Now let us go to the next fundamental data type, that is float. So we understood int, right? In the same way, we have float, which is also used to store only a single value, and the purpose of float data type is to store floating values or decimal values. If you have any decimal value and if you want to store it in your memory, so it comes under float data type. I am going to take an example, that is 3.99, which has two decimals, right? So after point, whatever the number we have will be considered as decimal, and I want to store it in my memory, and the variable that I am declaring over here is value. So let me execute it. Done. Value is equal to 3.99, and what is the type? It is float. Understood, guys? So did we explicitly define or declare float data type anywhere in line number 525? No. Python is dynamically typed programming language, and the user or end user need not explicitly define the data type, not required. So that is the reason Python became very famous, guys. I hope your concepts are very clear. Now let us continue. I am printing the value. What is the value that is being stored in value? 3.99. So when I use print function, 3.99 was being given to the console, was printed to the console. Now using type function, let me get the data type of value. It is float. It is float. Let me take one more example. I want to store 0.009 to x. Done. X, and the value that is being stored is 0.009. Let me print x. Done. Executed. 0.009 printed to the console. Then let me also get the data type of X using type function. It is float. So how simple, if you observe the syntaxes are very easy, right? Print function or type function, whatever it might be, the syntaxes are very easy. But you should also practice, in the sense hands-on is must and should. Type each and every line, each and every character. Only then you will understand the language more. Instead of just watching, type it. Right, let's just continue. Pi is equals to 22 by 7. Akhil, is this possible to declare? Yes. What are we doing here? We are going to work on division operator, right? So 22 by 7 is nothing but 3.14. I hope every one of you remember that, right? So when I divide 22 by 7, I'll get one value, and that value will be stored in pi. Then see, pi holds a value of 3.14287 so on till 3. What is the type? It is float. Why float? Because it has decimal values. Let me print pi to the console. See, this is the value of 22 by 7 pi. Let us also print the type of pi. So it should return as float. Good. So far, we have tried directly storing decimal values to the variable, but Python also supports storing scientific notations. You can also store values using scientific notations. In the sense, whatever I have here, 3e2, this is nothing but 3 into 10 power 2, scientific notations. So Python allows to store the values in scientific notation as well. So what happens to this? 300. But this stores in decimal format. So nothing but 300.0. Right? So let me execute it. Q is equals to 3 to done. And if you see in the variable explorer, Q is nothing but 300.0. What is the type of the value? The data type is nothing but float. Now let me print Q value to console. Print of Q 300.0. It will not be 300. It will be 300.0. Let me also get the type of Q. Obviously it will be float. No doubt about it. Right. Now let me take one more example. B is equals to 43E minus 2. So this is nothing but, as I told, E is taking the value of 10, 43 into 10 raised to the power minus 2. This is nothing but 43 divided by 100, nothing but 0.43. Right? So 0.43 will be stored in B. B stores value 0.43 and the type of the value is float. Let me print the value, the type to console using type function, and it is float. So it's very simple, guys. You know, type function is used to return the data type of that particular object. Now comes the third fundamental category data type. It's bool. What is the purpose of bool data type? Bool data type is used to store Boolean values, nothing but true or false. And the value of true is considered as 1 and the value of false is considered as 0. This is very important. Why? Because when we try to derive our logic in the future programs, we will be using these concepts in some cases to derive our logic. Okay, so don't forget the values for true and false. And if you feel that these values are confusing, you just remember this shortcut. So alphabetically, F comes first. In false and true, F comes first, nothing but false and true. Right? F comes first, T comes second. So when you take values, what is the smallest value? 0. Then 1. See, in this way, we can at least remember in this way. False takes 0, true takes 1. Right. Now let us take some examples. I am going to store true, Boolean value true in A. Done. A is equals to true. So in variable explorer, the name of the variable is A and the value is true and the type is bool. Did we declare anywhere that we are going to store a Boolean value in A? No, right? Dynamically typed programming language. So features of Python is something very important, guys. Every one of you have to go through features of Python for multiple times. If you understand the features of Python well, you can understand any concept in Python. Now, let me also print A, and additionally I would also like to print type of A together. Both of them I am going to print at a single time. Is that possible, Akhil? Yes, it is possible, guys. For your understanding purpose, so far I kept it in 2 lines, but we can do it in a single line itself. So in print itself, you can print as many values as you want, right? See, print A takes true and type of A is giving us bool. In the same way, I will also come up with a new variable B where I am going to store a Boolean value false. Done. Okay. Now let me print B and type of B together at a time. False and the type is bool. So under Boolean values, under bool data type, we have only 2 values, true, false, that's it. Now, can we perform addition operation between A and B? Yes. How come? As we discussed earlier, true takes value 1. True is nothing but internally the value is 1. False has an internal value of 0. So when I perform A plus B, which is nothing but true plus false, which is nothing but 1 plus 0, which will be 1. Right? So let me execute and see the result. 1. Simple ways. If you don't want to use any variable, you can directly use the values true plus false. This should also return 1. Then True into false, 1 into 0. Any number multiplied by 0 will be 0. Understood? And finally, we had an expression with multiple operators. I have plus, I also have, asterisk mark which represents multiplication operator. So what should we do? Should we execute this part first or this part first? What should I do? PEMDAS. When you have an expression with multiple operators, simply follow PEMDAS. What is a PEMDAS abbreviation? Parenthesis, then exponential, multiplication, division, addition, and finally subtraction. So I have multiplication coming in first. So this will be calculated. 2 into 0 plus 1. This is nothing but this has to be calculated first. 0 plus 1, which is nothing but 1. So let us execute line number 559 as well. I hope it's clear, guys. Very easy if you understand the basics. If your foundations are strong, no one is going to stop you. Trust me, guys. So you're just listening to the class. It doesn't help you, but parallelly or say after the class, post after the session, sit for additional half an hour or 1 hour and type the code. Type each and every line of the code. You will enjoy it. Right. So far it is very easy for us. Now comes the last fundamental category data type. It is complex. Right? So what is the purpose of complex data type? Simple, it is used to store complex values. What is a complex value? A value which is in this format or this format. What is that format? A plus bj or a minus bj. So in general terms, we used to have I or j, you know, whatever the variable might be, that variable used to have -1 as the value, right? But in Python, the variable that will be used is j. A plus bj or a minus bj will be your complex numbers format, where a is nothing but real part, the real part of complex. B is imaginary part and j is square root, which is nothing but -1. Okay, so let us also take some examples under complex data type and understand well. I'm going to store a complex number to A and the value is 6 plus 7j. 6 plus 7j is the value and the type is complex and the size is 1. It is a single complex number. Don't assume these as two different numbers. Together it represents one complex number only. Right? So let me now print A and type of A together. The value of A is 6 plus 7j and the type of A is complex. It's a complex data type, complex number. In the same way, let me also come up with one more example where I want to store -2.5 minus 5.5j in F. Done. Now let me print F and type of F together. The same has been returned, printed. I'll come up with one more example. So, what makes the difference here is in line number 569, I'm taking both the values as integers. In line number 572, I'm taking both the values in decimal format. But in line number 575, I'm taking the real part as integer and imaginary part with float, and together I'm making with a complex. Now let me print E and type of E. Is there any change? Nothing. E and the type of E. It's clear, right? Let us try with one more example, but this time let me change that square root variable. Instead of j, let me use any other variable. Will it execute or not? No. So it means in complex numbers, if we want to store or work on any complex number, you should only use j variable, or sorry, j character. Apart from j character, you cannot use any other character. Then let me do one more thing. Let me take j front, j to the first, then the value. Let me also try it in this fashion. See, I'm getting a name error. So it means it should follow by default this format: a plus bj or a minus bj. You cannot use any other character apart from j, and make sure the imaginary part is first, then the j character is next to it. Right. So till line number 580 we have understood. Now comes the real and imaginary attributes. So in complex data type, okay, we have two attributes. What are these attributes? We'll talk about later. Okay, I'm going to store a complex number in A, that is 6 plus 7j. Now I want only the real part of A. The syntax will be variable dot attribute. Real is an attribute which returns only real part from the complex number. So it should return 6.0, not 6. Why not 6? Again, many of you might have a question. Akhil, you have just declared it as 6 plus 7j, and how come the real attribute returns 6.0? It should return 6, right? How come it will be 6.0? By default, real attribute, consider it as float. Not only real attribute, even the same for imaginary attribute as well. So what is the image attribute does? It returns imaginary part. So what will be the answer? 7.0. By default, it returns float, not integers. What if you have directly float instead of having integers? Like from 582, let us take directly float in the complex data type as values and declare. Now let me print b dot real. So I'm using real attribute to get the real part from b complex number. So it will be 2.3. See. Let me also print b dot image, nothing but imaginary part. It is 4.5. Simple, guys. So this marks the end of fundamental category data types. So under fundamental category data types, The purpose of fundamental category data types is to store a single value. So if you see in all the examples, we are storing only a single value, right? So in order to store a single value, you have to use fundamental category data types, and under fundamental category data types, we have int, float, complex, bool, right? Int stores only integers or whole numbers which does not have decimal values, whereas float is used to store decimal values, numbers or integers with decimal values. Then complex numbers, complex data types are used to store complex numbers which are in the format of a plus bj or a minus bj. And finally bool data type is used to store boolean values, that is true and false. Internally, the value of true is nothing but 1 and the value of false is 0. Now, without no further delay, let us start sequence category data types. Very widely used data types, str. So pay attention, guys. The next category data types is sequence category data types. What is the purpose of sequence category data types? They are used to store sequence of values. So you can have multiple values. Sequence, you can have a sequence. In sequence category data types, the first data type is str, nothing but string. So what is str? Str is used to store a sequence of characters enclosed in quotations. Enclosed in quotations. Akhil, should I use only single quotations? No, you can also use double quotations. Okay, only double quotations? No. You can also use triple single quotations as well. Okay. In the same way, I can also use triple double quotations. See, what is the difference between all of these four lines? The value is remaining, the sequence of characters is same in each and every line. But how are we representing it with respect to the quotations? In first line, I used only single quotes. In second line, I used double quotes. In third line, I have used triple single quotes. And in the fourth line, I have used triple double quotes. So str is nothing but sequence of characters. You can store sequence of characters enclosed in quotations. You can use single quotations, double quotations, or triple single double quotations, or triple double quotations. And there are two types of string data. One is single line, that means keeping your string in one line, sequence of characters in one line. And the second type is multi-line string, that means in multiple lines. When you have a big paragraph, or say when you want to define your string in multiple lines, okay, even that is possible under str data type. Here comes the question. So can I use each and every quotation for both these data types? The answer is no. Why, Akhil? What is the problem? For single line string data, you can use single quotes, double quotes, triple single, or triple double. So for single line string data, you can use all the types of quotations. Whereas for multi-line string data, single quotes and double quotes doesn't work. So these two doesn't work. Only possible way is you have to use triple single or triple double for multi-line string data. Okay, so let us take some examples for better understanding. Then you'll get a clear picture, guys. Right. This, yes. So let me start with the example. Okay, I'm taking single line strings where I have the value of the string is hello, which is in single line and enclosed in single quotes. And I'm assigning this hello string to string1 variable. See, under variable explorer, the name of the variable is string1 and the value is hello, type is str, it belongs to str family and the size is 5. How come 5? Each and every character takes size 1. That means H takes size 1, E takes size 2, size 1, L takes size 1, next L takes size 1, O takes size 1. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So it is 5. I hope it's clear. Right. Now let me print string1 to the console along with the type of string1. So this has to return hello then str. Hello str. So that means it is a string. Now let me take one more example, but this time I'll go with double quotations. Let us see the difference between line number 604 and 607 executed under Python and under variable explorer. S2 is the variable name, the value is Python and the type is str, the size is 6. Is there any difference? No, nothing else. There is no difference. Here I used single quotations, whereas in line number 607 I have used double quotations. Either you can use single quotations or double quotations or triple single or triple double quotations for single line strings. It doesn't make any difference. Let me print S2 and type of S2. It is Python and the type is str. Let me take one more example. S3 is equals to Python S3 and the value is Python. It is a string data type. It holds str type and the size is 6. And I'm also printing S3 and type of S3 to console. So it is Python and str. Clear. So far we are just working on string, single line strings. Now let us go and work on multi-line strings. Let us keep our string in multiple lines. So I have started an example here and the string is like this. This is a multi-line string. And am I using single quotations or double quotations? I'm not using any single quotations or double quotations because for multi-line strings, single or double quotations doesn't work. Only triple single or triple double quotations work. That means, so let me keep like this. Right. So triple single quotations is what being used here. So when you are executing, you have to select the entire string and then execute. Done. See, this is a multi-line string. And if you see here, the name of the string is multi underscore line and the type is str, size is 28. This is the string. If you want, you can sit and count. I mean, you can count each and every character present in the string and at the end you'll get a size 28. Make sure that you give size 1 to space as well. Then here it is 1. Even hyphen, any special character takes size 1. This is also 1 for full stop. So the size of multi-string is 28. I'm printing this multi-line to the console and type of multi-line to the console together. So this is a multi-line string is printed along with the type str. Right? Now let me take one more example, but this time I'm going to take again a multi-line string, but let me use triple double quotations. Triple single was being used in the example 1. Now let us use triple double quotations. Akhil, can you just try with single quotations or double quotations? Yes, sure. For you, I'm doing it. See. Now let me execute. You'll get a error. Syntax error is what you get because you cannot use single or double quotations for multi-line string. Clear, guys? Now let me go with example 2. Done. And I'm storing it in ADR1 is the variable name where the size is 95. I just created one small example of Gidavan Rosam address. Okay. So this is not a permanent address, just fake address. Don't believe it this. Okay. Right. Let's get continue. I'm printing the variable and the type of variable to the console. So the variable got printed along with the type. Now let us start understanding the operations on string data. These are very important because these operations will be continued to the next level of data types. So pay attention. The first operation that we are going to discuss is indexing. What is indexing? Indexing is nothing but it is a process of obtaining a single value or a character from any given object. So this is your object, right? So this is your example, Python. And strings support indexing. What is the meaning of indexing? It's nothing but as we discussed, we are going to achieve or obtain a single character from the object, from the string. Okay. For example, if I want T from Python, can I do it? Yes. Via indexing concept. How? By default, indexing starts from 0 in Python. What is indexing? It's nothing but giving a number to each and every character in the object. So by default, it starts from 0. So P take value of 0, Y take value of 1, T takes value of 2, H take value of 3, O takes value of 4, N takes value of 5. Right? So this is nothing but index. And strings str data type supports indexes. Using this index, you can achieve or obtain any single character from the string. Right? So Akhil, will this index be only positive? No, guys. When you go from left to right, the index will be in positive. In the same way, if you go in right to left manner, it will be in negative. Starting from -1, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and -6. If you understand one example properly, you can solve any number of questions. Pay attention. Now, let me start working on the example. I am declaring the variable and storing the value as takes or holds a value Python, the size is 6, it's a string s of 0, and make sure when you are trying to use indexing concept you have to use only square braces. The syntax says variable name, in our case it is yes, followed by square braces, then the number, index number. So s of 0. 0 is nothing but p. So this should written as p. S of 4, nothing but O. S of 2, nothing but T. S of minus 2. So minus itself is indicating that we have to go in right to left direction. Minus 1, minus 2. This is also O. S of minus 6, which is P. S of 10. Do we have index 10 in our string? No, right? So this will written as index error. When the index number is out of the range, it will written as index error. So let us execute all of these starting from line number 630. P, O, then T, sorry, T, O, then P, error, C. It's very easy, guys. I hope indexing concept is clear. Now let us proceed to the next topic, that is slicing. Okay, so indexing is nothing but we are obtaining a single character from the object, whereas slicing is a process of obtaining a range of characters from the object. From the given string, if you want to get multiple characters or say a range of characters, then we have to go and use slicing concept. What is the syntax of slicing? Like how we have used in the previous case in indexing concept, variable name followed by square braces. In square brace, we have to give the index number. But here the syntax will be start colon stop colon step size. What is the start, stop, step size? Let us, we'll understand. The default value of start is 0. So for example, if the start value was not mentioned in the syntax, then it takes the default value of start as 0. What if the step size value is not mentioned? The default value is -1. And the stop value follows n-1 formula. So all these, rules or the values you have to by heart. Better by heart them so that you will understand the slicing concept well. Right, let me take an example so that we'll be clear on slicing concept as well. I'm taking same Python as the character, I mean the string. Now let me go with slicing instead of indexing. If it is indexing, you have to use only one number, right? So it's clear that it is not indexing. We are using two different numbers, 1 and 4. So it clearly tells that it is concept of slicing. Now let us understand what is exactly 1:4. S of 1:4. This is start, this is stop, and we have colon between them. Actually, we did not have step size. If step size was missing, as we discussed, the default is nothing but 1. Even though if there is no step size, it means 1. Now let us understand what is this 1 colon 4. It means start. What is the start value that we have here? 1. Okay, start the sequence at 1. Started. Then how much should be added to go to the next number? It's nothing but the step. What is the step here? 1. So 1 plus 1 will be 2. Then 2 plus 1 will be 3. 3 plus 1 will be 4. But 4 is our stop value. Stop value should stop at n minus 1 index itself. So 4 minus 1 is nothing but 3. So it has to stop at 3 itself. So the output of this line number 644 will be 1, 2, 3 indexes. So let me compare what will be the output. It will be YTH, because by default indexing starts from 0. At index 1 I have Y, at index 2 I have T, at index 3 we have H. So let me execute. The output should be YTH. Yes, we are correct. Can you please comment what will be the answer for line number 645? Make it fast. Make it fast, guys. Yes, it will be Python. Why? Because we are going to get each and every character of yes. Starting from 0, we'll get till 5. So Python will be printed. Good. Now, can you please do it for line number 646? Here the step size is not 1, guys. It is T. I mean it is 2. So what will be the answer? Starting from P, 0 plus 2 will be 2. So after P we'll get T. Then 2 plus 2 will be 4. So at fourth index I have O. So the output will be PTO. Good. Keep it up. I want everyone to answer. What will be the output for line number 647? 2 colon 5. Yes. What will be the output for line number 2 colon 5? Starting from T, then H, then O, THO. Good. Then what will be the output for line number 648? What will be the output for line number 648? No. See, I am starting at fourth index, nothing but O. So what is my step size? 1, right? If I keep on adding 1, how can I achieve 2? It is, yeah, it will return me nothing, because your start and stop values are not in a right or proper way, right? So that is the reason it has returned us nothing. Now tell me the output for line number 649. 1 colon. What does that mean? 1 is representing start. So we are going to start from Y. Do we have any stop? No stop value, right? So by default it prints or takes till the last character. It will be till n. Good. In the same way, can you do it for line number 650? 650 minus 6 colon, right? Minus 6 colon is nothing but, what is the start value? Minus 6. Minus 6 is nothing but p. And what is the stop value? There is no stop value. So it prints till n. So the entire Python will be given as output. Now, instead of having the start value, we don't have any start value in line number 651. So it will take the default as 0 till 5 as our stop value. So n minus 1, 5 minus 1 will be 4. So 0 to 4. It is nothing but pytho. Good. In the same way, till minus 4. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. So pyt has to be printed, right? So only py will be printed, as we are not going to print the last value, the stop value. What is the meaning for line number 653? Just keeping colon. What does that mean? Just colon represents to print the string as it is, the entire string. Yes, good. The entire string will be printed as it is. There is no start, no stop, no step. That is, the default values will be taken starting from 0 till the end, taking as step size 1. Now this will be tricky. Tell me the output for line number 654, guys. 654. Think, minus 1 is indicating in negative direction. I mean, right to left. So starting index is 4. Where it will be started? No, entire string will not be printed. Think. Only OHT. Right? Only OHT. This is nothing but 4, right? In the reverse direction, it starts from O, then 3, 2. 1 cannot be printed because 1 is our stop value. Then, if I want to print the string in the reverse order, just keep the step size as minus 1 and you don't give any values for start and stop. It will reverse the entire string. Yep. Good going, good going. I see many of you are responding. Right. So this is the concept of slicing, and indexing and slicing we'll be using throughout the data types, not only data types, even in our ML applications, even while doing data cleansing part, analysis part. So it's better if you have a clear understanding on indexing and slicing concepts. Right. Now I'll just complete this input function and then we'll stop for the day. Right. So input is an inbuilt function which is used to take the response from the end user and dynamically assign the value to the variable. So I'm going to execute line number 658. So it is asking the end user to enter the name. So let me enter my name. I'll keep my name as Akhil and I'll click on enter. You see, this Akhil is dynamically assigned to A. How can you tell that Akhil? Just go and observe variable explorer, guys. A takes value Akhil. The size is 6. String. It's a string. Why it is a string? So just because you gave a text, is it string? No. Let me do it one more time. It is asking me to enter my name. Instead of entering my name, I'll give my weight, or say I'll give my age. Okay, so now I'll click on enter. Still it is accepting. Why? Is my name 20? No, right? But still it accepts. And the type is str. Is 20 a string? No, right? By default, input function considers the value as string. Python interpreter doesn't know whether this is name or anything. It's a number. It just takes the response from the user, dynamically assigns to the variable, and keeps default type as str. How can we keep a control on this, Akhil? Simple, guys. Whatever you want to just pass the values, you have to use that particular function. For example, if you want the end user to give only the age, okay, apart from age, nothing else to be given, then you should keep int condition on it so that the end user cannot give text here. For example, let me execute this. Okay, I'll give a number, say 30. Will it accept? Yes. See, I'll execute line number 660 one more time. Instead of a number, let me keep my gender. Will it accept? Let's see. See. Why? Because of the additional condition that we have kept. Right. Then let me take a small program with respect to input function. Okay. So we are going to come up with a program for finding the multiplication of two numbers. Okay. So let me execute line number 663. Enter first value is it's asking me to enter the value, and I'll keep it as 30. Okay, so x1 will be 30.0 because I used float function. So this 30 will be converted to float, right? That is possible, but you cannot give a string or a text because text cannot be converted to float. In the same way, I'm going to execute line number 665, and again I'm passing one more number, that is say 2, and x2 holds a value of 2.0 as we use float function, right? So this two integer gets converted to float. Now I'm going to perform multiplication, guys. Okay, x1 into x2, which is nothing but 30.0 into 2.0. The output will be 60.0 and it will be printed in the console. So what am I doing? In the print function, I am keeping a message in the format of string that will be printed as it is. Okay, then the operation, whatever I want to print, I'm keeping it next to it. So the output of this will be printed. So I hope it's clear. We'll stop for the day and let me take up your questions. Only technical questions, guys, nothing else apart from it. Right, any questions? I hope every one of you are practicing on daily basis. As I told you yesterday, it's not a movie that we watch in theaters. Explain the string slicing operation from line 650 to 655. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll revise the slicing concept one more time. Okay, we'll do it one more time. Right. Because it's already late, right? So we'll do it tomorrow. Anything else? you know, input function accepts only one input, guys. When you want to take say multiple inputs, you have to choose or you have to go with other alternative. Can you explain the indexing part where the values are not provided? That's what we'll do it tomorrow, friends. Right. Hope everyone is clear for the day. I'll stop it here. Have a great day. Share it with your friends and please like, share, and subscribe this. Thank you so much. We'll connect tomorrow at the same time.